Let's get to the Eye On feature, which we do every time around this time. And my guest is Kabelo Ncholo, who's the MD of Yourself Management, with us from the Cape Town studio. Kabelo, good chatting to you. Hi.
Good evening. Good day, Ashra. How are
Evening's
you?
fine. Cape Town doesn't sleep. It's like Las Vegas or something like that. I understand.
I've been
Well,
celebrating my birthday. That's why.
well, there you are. Okay, so I suppose it was last night.
Yeah, actually, it was on Tuesday, so I had a
You
celebration yesterday.
Okay, I thought you could
Yeah.
have like a 5 day holiday because of that. All right, well done on that on the birthday.
Yeah.
That's one milestone. But the other is just about yourself and your company. Tell me about your self management.
Your self-management, it's a marketing agency with a core focus on the African, or should I say, Black people. I call it, for one to understand, it's a one-stop shop where we do above, below, and digital marketing. We take a very interest on understanding our clients' intellectual property strategies, and we partner with our clients so we can really be able to position them well within that a very socio-cultural market or African market.
And how successful have you been at that?
We've been successful, I would have to say. Literally today, having a full-time staff, over 300 people, not only is operating within South Africa because of their interest and the understanding of the African market. We operate within SADC. We got offices in Namibia and Zambia and throughout South Africa, head office in Johannesburg, regional office in Cape Town and Durban as well.
And in terms of the type of clients that you're involved in, tell me about that.
Actually, just it's another thing because you mentioned the likes of your Nestle, and I'm very proud to mention that we just not just a supplier, we are preferred supplier for Nestle for chocolate range, the likes of Tiger Brands for the breakfast cereals, the Otangle brand, we are preferred supplier for that brand as well. Platco, which is ETV, we're responsible for it. In fact, it's a very good story. When we took over that account, they were struggling with the subscription for their decoder. I think we only took the account when they were sitting less than 80,000 subscribers. And within 3 months last year, we managed to increase their subscriptions to over 200,000. Now they're sitting on 700,000 subscription due to the strategies that we put. So it's one of the clients that we really did well, the likes of your Microsoft, Telcom as well, just to mention a few of the clients that you're servicing. L'Oreal as well, I shouldn't forget to mention that. Yeah.
All right, so it's very competitive out there, as you know. As you and I talk, there are people plotting and planning and trying to create new markets for themselves and chipping away what people like yourself do. What is it you do that ensures that you would be the go-to place in your market?
I think first of all, our core focus into the African market and really investing. We as an agency, we're investing in understanding the African market, or the black, or the main market, as it may be, as I might call it. But not only that, it's also the relationship that we have with an academic partnership with the FET, which is further education training. Not only do they were able to be a platform to offer us a motivated staff that are studying marketing related for our campaigns. And I'm also proud to say just this financial year, we were able to offer over 2,000 jobs or opportunities to students that are studying marketing related through the partnership we have with them on seasonal. And they also were able to come very handy with the case studies with them, because they have the time as academics for them to really research on the trends and the new developments within the marketing. And that was really very handy. And that is one of the differentiating factors, because when we're working with our clients, we just don't go out and come back and provide a report or provide an activation or advertisement or whatever that the client might need to us. We go deep into details. We're coming back with the research and the trends, and we are able to advise them where the market is going because of that academic partnership that we have.
All right, which gets me thinking about your own journey, and I want to invite callers as well if they wish to chat to you directly. They certainly can do that. 0891 104 207. Kabelo Ncholo with me, the MD, the founder of your self-management. Kabelo, go ahead. Tell me, where did it all start for you?
My entrepreneurial journey, in fact, it was not all planned. It was by pure default, if I have to say it. It was highly influenced by my background, my humble background. In fact, when I got to Johannesburg the year 2001, I only had one thing in mind, to study medicine. More so that I was actually admitted to go study medicine at vet. Because of my background, I arrived late. Which is, I think it was something great as well. It was a blessing in disguise because just later, after persuading the dean to really be part of the following year intake, which is the class of 2002, then they gave me a task for me to do some hours at the Lenasia hospital. Then I realized I can't stand blood.
That took you a while.
It took me a while, and I think my administrations or my admire to get into the medical field was based on I'm coming from a village, Bapon that is next to the hospital. My family members, my aunts and whatnot, they actually, we've been surrounded by nurses and them aspiring to doctors. And that was one thing that I just wanted to have. And I found I was actually working as a waiter, and that's where the opportunity came. And where the restaurant I was working at, McRib in Melpark, they hosted Matric Farewells. And the schools would book one section, and then we'll still have to serve other patrons on the other side. Then it was really so uncomfortable for me because the previous year, which was the year 2000, I had a matric farewell, and it was not exactly what the guys were having. And that's when I decided to say, I should rather do a company that will cater for matric farewell. So your self-management started first by catering matric farewell. I didn't think about it. The name yourself came about when I was thinking, because we're keeping on telling them to keep it low, I will come up with a company or an event that they would have loved it themselves. So the name yourself came up to do the matric dance the way the learners then would have done.
All right. So that's how it started for you.
Yes.
And then what did you do? I mean, what is the first project then with regard to matric dances?
I did. The following year, 2002, I made a bet with one of the waiters who said, okay, following year I'm going to really host the learners matric, the same school matric farewells. Guess what? On that night, I made a tip of 350. He came back and he came to me, says, Kabelo, you remember the bet that you made? And I said, yes. And he said, you said you're going to go and host matric farewells for the same schools. This is 2002. Then are you going to do it? And I resigned right on the spot, took that same 350, went to print out profiles, calling it your self-functioning organizers then. To cut a long story short, at the age of 19, I had 4 schools that were paying 25,000 rand each. So I had 100,000. Then I knew I was already into something. Then it evolved. I started hosting events for tertiary institute like VET. Then that's when, and I met Michelle, my mentor, Michelle Combrick, who actually introduced me to marketing the year 2007. She actually met me through her assistant, Kate, and they were looking for someone who's actually going to assist them with penetrating Soweto. And I was there, and I went through to her office, and right there, I knew that's where I want to position, and I've been using her company, Zinto Marketing, as my benchmark.
Well, that sounds absolutely wonderful. So now that you're pretty established, I mean, what's the key competencies that you now provide?
We provide. Our strategy is just based on being a one-stop shop for our client. All the clients, we don't have many clients. You only have a handful of clients, but you are able to stretch them. Our income, we're over 30 million rand a year. And how we're able to do that, it's because of we look into each and every one. We partner with our client and how to position their brand, whether activations, whether through digital, and whether through advertising, doing ads for them, and in a very conventional, because of our main market, or the market that we're focusing on, it is the African market. So where there's a township, where you want to take your brand to the black people throughout LSM, whether you're talking like your lower LSM to your highest LSM, if you want to talk to a black person, we come up with case studies on how we can work with your brand so that your brand can resonate and can talk to that internet market.
Let's talk about that township market. I mean, there are many others now who've understood the value of the township economy, right?
Yeah.
So how important? Well, obviously it's important. That's why you're playing in that space.
Yeah.
But how then do you withstand challenges from others who obviously see the same opportunities?
It's a consistent and consistent case study, consistent investment in understanding the market. And I always say to the client, the township or the main market within South Africa, it's worth 308 billion rand. So there is an opportunity. That's the mass market. That's the majority of South African. But the trick on penetrating that market is how you're going to position yourself, because that market is really it's more of an emotional sparking. So whatever that you sell, it has to really resonate and spark the emotions. And it's very interesting, like you just said with Doom. So those are the things that you're investing on understanding and having a one common language, because of it's very diverse. It's very diverse. So you can't have one tagline. You got 11 official languages, but we still have the 12th one, which is the township language. And how do you really are able to take your message and be able to communicate to that? And that is one key element.
Okay, so interesting. You're saying the township language is a language all of its very own, which sometimes fuses multiple languages into one, right?
Yeah, true.
Yeah. And your thoughts in terms of research? I mean, what do township people react negatively, almost indifferently, maybe is the right word, to brands that actually don't know their lingo, therefore don't speak to them in their lingo?
You miss communications with the township market. You miss it. I'll say this way: like, you need to understand, first of all, like in the township, it's a wage. Someone is going to get paid, and they're going to buy your product once, and they want to carry your product throughout the whole month. So if your product really fails them, the quality and the communications that you have for your product to say why your product serves, and it actually can be interpreted wrong. They're not going to call you on your helpline to really vent out. The way to vent out is going to be through a word of mouth. They're going to tell a neighbor is going to tell another neighbor. Within a very short period, the whole street knows your product is strong. The whole community then won't buy into your product. And that is one thing that we normally working on how do you understand that the township, how it works compared to others. So the communication and how you directly get involved with them, it's totally different from what I will call the urban, where people will call and will give you your helpline a call to say we are not happy with such a product. So and now in this time of digital, where everything can just go on a social media, so it's very easy for someone not to be content or happy with a product, and they just go to social media. Then the next thing, it goes viral, and that has a very a big potential of killing your product.
Here's an interesting question from Kelly in Kwagatse saying, have you in any way explored rural area on the same level as townships with pay TV services?
We have. In fact, what you've done, our core focus on that has always been rural and the township market. More so that we're offering it's the quality on its the product on its own. It's a digital. It offers quality, and you just do a once-off payment. And I could tell you now that about 30% of our sales are coming from the rural areas, and that's why, because of when you're talking the township, I always call it the peri-urban. You cannot take off the rural areas out because of they also have the buying powers.
Yeah, good point. All right, we've got about 2 more minutes to go. In terms of the biggest challenges that you now face moving forward, what would they be, Kabelo?
The biggest challenge within the business, like I just said, was just because you are competitive now. You are in the market with the giants, and before we used to be that underdog where everyone used to really not pay much attention to. But because of the clients that we're having now, we are exposed in terms of being in a competitive. So our strategies and having a very skilled people within the business. So skill, it's one of the challenges for one to really be able to run the agency more based on that, like as a 360 marketing. We are more now and then having to work on something that we have never done before. So skill is something that I'm working on within the business.
Okay, that sounds pretty great. And maybe long term, how would you? I know it's early days in your career, but let's say 20 years from now, you and I chatted to Marcus Brewster early on, who's been around for a long time. How would you, like to make knowledge in the industry one day when people reflect on your contribution?
My focus, and that's why I took the company or the agency, not just to be comfortable to work within South Africa. My focus is to understand Africa throughout. And I'm very fortunate that we should be opening one of the branches in Nigeria, thanks to the global client that actually trusted us with the campaign throughout Africa. So we just want to be the agency to go to for you to be able to understand the African people, not South African, not black South African, but the whole African people, where we could be able to position brands, positions companies accordingly within Africa. That's the strategy that I have for till the year 2021, where I would really love to plant offices within Africa, so to understand the social differences within our African people and this African.
Well, let's hope it all works out for you. I mean, so far it's been a case of so far so good, and very different from being in the medical industry and seeing blood, maybe different blood. It's a blood sport, a different type of world that you're involved in right now. Kabelo Ncholo, thanks for your time. MD and the founder of Yourself Management. I'll tell you what, tweet some of the links to your company. I would gladly share that and some of the projects that you are involved in as well. If you just tweet to #MediaShow and tweet to me, I will certainly share that. All right?
Okay. Thank you so much.
There we are. Interesting indeed.